Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here to react to the final episode of Doom Patrol Season 2. And yeah, we're finally here, and shit's about to go down because the candlemaker, or whatever his name is he's here. He's ready to start the end of the world. And I'm just wondering where you go from here. I kind of asked that in everything pretty much, but it's like, if you have a world-ending scenario, an apocalyptic event, where do you go from there? Like, that's pretty much endgame shit. Like, how do you come back from that? Like, you can't raise the stakes from that. There's nothing else you can do except maybe, like, entire, like, universal destruction. But it's like, even then, it would basically have just the same stakes. Like, because really, the characters and everyone, it's like they're just on Earth and shit. It's like, if the universe is destroyed, it's the same thing as the Earth being destroyed. It's the same stakes for our heroes. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is here, what they're going to do. But I can't say I'm not interested. Because, again, I don't see what's going to be able to be bigger than this. But I guess we'll have to find out. Now, obviously, we won't be getting to Season 3 right away. We'll be taking a break, and I don't know when we'll get back to this. It's like, with a series like this, like I've said in the past, it's difficult for me to get through a lot of the time. Because it's so intensely depressing. It's like, it has really funny moments and stuff, and like ridiculously goofy parts. And even some happy stuff. But it's so, it's just majority depression. All the time. And it's so fucking hard to sit through, if I'm being honest. Like, I can deal with it at times. I can deal with it occasionally. But that's why I've had to take breaks and everything. Even with such a small episode count. Because it's just like, I can't handle it. Not that much. So, yeah. Fun. But yeah, I don't know when we'll get to Season 3, but we will at some point, and we'll probably take a mid-season break with it. Again, just, you know, especially if it gets as heavy as this one did. But at some point we will. So yeah. Either way, and I'm also gonna say, like, right off the bat, even though this is pre-thoughts, I'll talk about it more in the afterthoughts. I do know what is replacing this, and it's not what you think, because you may remember that this was already kind of a replacement as it was. Like, this was a temporary replacement for something else. And that being Total Drama Redonkulous Race and all. But I'm just going to mention right now that that's not what's going to be replacing it. I'm just mentioning right now that Total Drama will not be coming back right away. As much as I would like it to. Again, I'll mention more in the afterthoughts. I'll talk about it more then. But I just wanted to let you know, there will be a little bit longer of a wait on that. But Total Drama will be coming back as soon as we can get to it. But there will be a little more of a wait. So, just wanted to let you all know. But, that all being said, of course, let's just get on with this and hope for the best. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I was not expecting a cliffhanger there. There's a couple points where I was looking at the time wondering, like, is this going to wrap up? Like, it felt like it was, like, it felt like there was no way this could wrap up in time, and I was right. But I didn't actually expect them to do that. That's wild. And I'm just saying right now, I am not continuing into it. I am not continuing into season 3 right away. We are still taking a break. But that is wild. And the Miranda that we've been seeing isn't even really Miranda? Because the real Miranda is dead in the well? It's just like, what the fuck? And we get to see Miranda's past and everything through this. That when she was the primary, she fell in love with a guy who ended up betraying her trust and her love by, throwing an orgy. Unbeknownst to her. That's the worst part. If he had told her about it, like, or talked through with her about it, that would have been one thing, but he just kind of sprang it on her. To her knowledge, it was a housewarming party. But then to just be kind of thrust into that out of nowhere, it's like, that's not okay. I am so happy that that Jane basically told him to fuck off and all. Because that's not okay. Again, if you're into that, that's fine. If you're into orgies, if you're into that kind of stuff, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't mistake me being angry at this dude for, not accepting and supporting people wanting to experiment with that kind of stuff. I'm very supportive of that. But the thing is, it has to be consensual. Just like any sexual activity. It has to be consensual. So, for her to be forced into that against her will, and especially to, end up kind of just going along with it, because she felt awkward about, like, refusing at that point, even though she was clearly uncomfortable. It's like, I actually feel really fucking bad for Miranda. Like, she was put through hell. She was... And was that implying that the father was raping her, by the way? That when Kay was a kid, that the father raped her? I don't know if it mentioned that in the past. It might have, and I just might, not have remembered, but... Because she was seeing the father in the guy that was... Bob, I think his name was, who was having sex with her. Like, I think that's what that was implying. Again, that might have been mentioned in the past, and I might just not remember. But if that is also the case, I feel even worse for her. Like, come on. It's like she was clearly extremely uncomfortable the entire time he was fucking her. And, like, she didn't want to do any of it. And she only agreed to it to just kind of go along with it and just... This is whole new levels of fucked up. It's very uncomfortable, very fucked up, and I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it at all. It's very, very uncomfortable. So... I'm glad that Jane took over and gave him what for, but at the same time, the fact that when Miranda went back inside and everyone in there also berated her for what she did. Like, yeah, what like she definitely made a mistake, but they were kind of treating her like shit, if we're being honest. And it's like they literally drove her to suicide. And now that we know that the Miranda we've been seeing isn't the real Miranda, we know Miranda was not a bad guy. Miranda was a victim, not of just the horrible people in the real world, but of even the others in the underground. I genuinely feel extremely bad for Miranda. I genuinely really, really hate what the others in the underground did to her. Again, they literally drove her to suicide. She made a bad mistake. She did, but it was not deserving of being treated like shit like that. This is clearly showing that what we thought we knew about how the underground worked and the relationship between all of the alters is not correct. That things are not always what they seem, and sometimes that can really lead to some problems. Throughout the episode, we also see the Doom Patrol have to struggle against their imaginary friends. Cliff has to literally fight Jesus, and it's like, what the fuck? But it's like, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And they're communicating with all their friends, but it's soon revealed that, well, I mean, we knew they were illusions. We know they were fake, but it's soon revealed it is the candle maker. It's just all he could do at that time. And he turns them all to wax. Everyone is turned to wax. It seems pretty hopeless. But Dorothy ends up deciding to face down the Candlemaker. And I'm just gonna say, I don't know if I reacted much. I don't know, like, I don't think I did. I don't think I actually physically reacted much. But when the Candlemaker just reached out and grabbed her that easily and that kind of roughly, my asshole clenched. I don't know if I don't think I actually showed much physical reaction in that moment, but it's like I clenched hard. I've talked about it before on the channel. I hate it when a larger character grabs a smaller character in a very, like, aggressive manhandling way. Like a giant character, for example, grabbing a smaller character around the midsection to where their fingers can go all the way around the waist. I don't know what it is about that, but it freaks me out. It scares the shit out of me. Or even just like a larger character, like grabbing someone by like the throat or whatnot, or the head and everything. Like if a character's like grabbed by the head, picked up and thrown or something like that. It's like just the idea of a much larger individual manhandling a smaller individual to that degree, it freaks me the fuck out. It is one of the most, it is genuinely one of the scariest images I think I can see in media. Maybe not at the very top, but still. It just, I don't know what it is about it. It bothers the shit out of me. I think it might have to just due to, or it might just be due to the difference in size equating to like a difference in strength and power and everything. Like the larger individual having that much power and control over the smaller individual just like bothers me, just scares me. Because it's like, you have an individual who's so much larger to the point where it's like, it would be very easy for them to break you in half. And it's like that, it scares me. And it's like, so when he grabbed her just so easily, so fluidly, so um like violently, like aggressively, it like, again, I don't know if I like actually like physically like reacted. You guys are gonna have to tell me, or either I'll have to watch again, watch my reaction back. Um, but I can tell you that my butthole did clench, very, very hard. Um, it is just I, ugh. And the kind of the big reason why we're not continuing straight into season 3 and everything, because this series, it's just there's so much discomfort in it, so much depression, so much pain. It's so hard to watch a lot of the time. It's just like even the Jesus camp thing here, and it's like, okay, so Cliff like went to Jesus camp, and it was basically just a way for him to, get out of his parents' hair while they worried about their living situation. And then everything went to shit once, he came back, and everything fell apart with that again. His father made false promises, and he was 6 years old. So, and it's like, yeah, I can very much connect with that. Unfortunately, I've been to Bible camp. I've been to Christian camps, a couple of them. And the most notable one was when I was in high school, like late high school, like 11th, 12th grade. Um, I went to a Bible camp during the summer between 11th and 12th grade, I believe. Um, and it was around this time that my mother and father were like planning through their divorce and everything. Like it wasn't until we moved back up here to Michigan, because we were living in Georgia at the time. It wasn't until we moved back up here to Michigan that they actually got the divorce. But it's like I used going to that as basically a way of escape. And during the weekend, I connected hard with Jesus, with the messages and everything, because of how vulnerable of a state I was in. And that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people will not tell you, that a lot of Christians especially will not admit to. They take advantage of vulnerability. And I'm saying this as a Christian. I do believe in God, and I would consider myself a Christian, but most Christians out there, especially the evangelical kind, are very much take advantage of vulnerability, especially in kids. They use that in order to, keep the religion going, and in order to basically brainwash people. And I really wish I had known this kind of shit sooner, because it would have saved me a lot of pain. This is why while I believe in God and while I do have faith and all of that, I do not consider myself religious. Because the religion aspect of Christianity is fucking disgusting and horrible and evil, honestly. Like, kind of the opposite of what they think they are. Because they make it all about the religion. They make it all about control. And it's not about the relationship with Jesus or God. It's not about actually, following the words of the Bible, because they don't give a shit about that. They make up their own shit. And so it's like the religious side of Christianity has hurt me many times in the past, especially, for example, when I came out in 2017. Like, I was betrayed by my church actively. They turned their backs on me. I lost them as friends. I was literally dismembershipped from my church without even being told at first. And they dead named me, they misgendered me, yada yada. They turned their back on me because I decided to be myself. And they didn't like that. They didn't agree with that. And so I've struggled with my beliefs through that, and even before that there was a lot of things that just always bothered me regarding the church. And not just that church, but other churches I had been to as well. And I went through a lot. I struggled with a lot in regards to that. Luckily, my current church is, actual people who follow the words of Jesus in the Bible and, are actually good people. Progressives and all that, very supportive of the queer community. Multiple queer people have, actually presented the message on Sunday mornings and, serve in the church in various ways. But are also just very against the ideals that the conservative evangelicals spout. They're very much progressive, and that's why I like my current church, because they don't come across as religious. They don't come across as a religion, but more of a gathering of people who believe this, but are not going to be judgmental assholes. It doesn't come across as like an organized religion as much, if that makes any sense. So it's like, I understand that. And I, again, as I said in the reaction, I've had imaginary friends. I don't remember like what any of them were called or anything, but I definitely had imaginary friends, and yeah, it was an escape. Like a lot of kids use that as an escape to like get through tough situations with their parents, with struggles in school and various other things. And it's tough. It's really tough. So it's like seeing all of them like have to struggle with their childhood imaginary friends here. It's like, I get it. I very much do. And on top of this all, you have Jane and Miranda and Kay and everything happening in the underground. And it's like, everything's just going crazy there. It's just, it's pure insanity. It's pure insanity. And the fact that it left off on a cliffhanger is wild to me. And the worst part about it is that Cliff was in the right. The fact that the others basically forced him and gaslit him into going with them, which ended up being completely pointless and didn't amount to anything anyway, when he should have been going to his daughter's wedding. Like, it's just not okay. It's not okay. Cliff should have gone to his daughter's wedding. He was in the right for wanting to do that. He had every right to want to do that. The others gaslighting him and saying like, oh, your daughter would want you to be the one to save the world. Be the man your daughter wants you to be. It's like, fuck off with that shit. Like, I know you all are going through shit yourselves, but that is not okay. That is not okay. And again, it was pointless. He and the others weren't able to do shit. Their contributions were literally nothing here. Dorothy is going to be the one who has to save the day. Everyone else was useless. He could have gone to his daughter's wedding, been perfectly happy, and enjoyed seeing his baby girl get married. Instead, no, you guys had to fucking gaslight him and be just shitty friends, really. I'm actually really irritated about that. Because it's like there's so much I like about these characters, but when they do shit like that, it's like that's not okay. It's like they're forcing him to fall back into this negativity, to fall back into this pain and this misery, instead of, being happy that he's having a good time right now, that his life is actually going well, that he's reconnecting with his daughter. They're not being happy for him at all. They're just saying, like, no, we need you, even though they didn't. There was nothing he, like, could do there. They're just saying, you need to come with us. We have to all go together. Why? There was absolutely no fucking reason for it. And even with them not knowing that that was all going to happen, it's like there was no reason for it. It's like that having him sit out on this mission would not have hurt anything. It would not have changed anything. And even from their perspective at the start, it wouldn't have changed anything. Let's be honest, Cliff is not exactly the most useful member of the team. Nothing against him, but he's not. He's like all strength. That's all he has. And against the Candlemaker, that's not going to do shit. That is not going to do shit. The other's abilities are far more useful here. And even they don't have that much use against something like the Candlemaker. That was made very clear. And yet they think they need Cliff for this? No, for other missions that would involve strength, sure, but not for this. They're just gaslighting him because they don't want him to be happy. They're going through these struggles. They're going through all this shit. They don't want him to be happy. They don't want him to have any just little tiny bit of joy in his life. They have to make him suffer. They have to bring him down with them. Ugh. I'm actually getting angrier the more I talk about it. There was the one thing in this episode that really like bothered me more than, just the ass clenching moment of Dorothy getting grabbed like that. Like in a very different way than how I was bothered by Miranda basically being raped in that orgy and everything. It's like that was disturbing as fuck in a very notable way, but this is a different kind of anger. Like, this is anger at them for being just bad people in that instance. My anger at, like, with Miranda and what she was put through is a different situation. I'm not saying either is worse than the other. They're both really terrible. Though, honestly, I would say probably the rape is a little worse, if I'm being completely fair. In fact, not even a little. It's worse. The rape is worse. It's very much worse. But that doesn't invalidate. That doesn't invalidate how shitty the others were being when they forced Cliff into this. But, yeah, obviously the rape is worse. It's rape. It's, like, probably the worst thing a person can do to another person. And, yes, it was rape. Like, it was very clear that her consent to joining in on that orgy was not real. That she was not okay with it. That she was just going along with it. It's basically, it's just as little of, it's just as little, I'm trying to word this. It's as much not consent as it is if someone is drunk. If someone's drunk, it's not consent. They're not in a good headspace. They cannot rightly consent. It's the same thing here. forcing someone into it, guilting them into it, that's not consent. That's not consent. That's rape. Straight up. So, yeah. I'm pissed at that, too. I'm pissed at a lot. This is why I can't watch the series so often. This is why I have to take breaks. Because I'm just going to get angry. I'm going to get depressed. I'm going to just... This series is going to fuck me up. I don't know when we're going to get to the next season. I don't know. I just genuinely do not know. But it's gonna be at least some time before it happens. Because like I said, I cannot do this often. I apologize to Ribs, who was the donator for this. I do genuinely apologize, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from here. It's just, it's a lot for me. With the shit I've been through in my life, with my anxiety, with my depression, with even my autism, that probably deals with it, or that's probably part of it as well. With all of that, it's like I can't handle this kind of shit too much. It's like there's just certain things that I can't with. You know? It's just certain things just like bother me to such a degree. And again, it's not a fault of the show. The show's really well made. But it just bothers me to such a degree that it's so hard for me to watch, and it just puts me in a really bad state. Right now, that's anger, but in some of these episodes, it's been extreme depression. This series has put me into extreme depressive states. And I don't like feeling like that. I really don't like feeling like that. I don't like feeling any negative emotions, especially very strongly. So it's like feeling extreme depression or extreme anger bothers me. Which only adds to that. Only adds to the discomfort. So that's lovely. But yeah. It's like, it's just something that I can't handle all the time. So, I apologize for rambling on about this and ranting about stuff here, but I needed to get this out because, like, at least talking about it like this helps me. If I'm being honest, it allows me to vent, and that's it helps. It helps at least a little bit. Hey everyone, sorry we got to cut back in real quick because when recording the afterthoughts, I forgot to talk about what's replacing Doom Patrol Season 2 for the time being. Just because my emotional state was so wrecked at the moment. So, just letting you know, Doom Patrol is being replaced by One Piece. I feel like I kind of led into that in the pre-thoughts, but I didn't specifically say. Yeah, we knew One Piece was coming back. I just needed to open a slot for it. Like I said in the pre-thoughts, we weren't going to be bringing back Total Drama just yet. And honestly, we had 3 donation reward shows going currently. Outside of Doom Patrol, we also had Fire Force and Sympho Gear currently going. So I felt it kind of right to cut out one of them at this point, and bringing One Piece back in, I mean, it kind of works. So there will still be one more like multi-episode thing for One Piece just to continue to catch up. But after that, we will be 1 episode a week. So, yeah. Just wanted to make sure you guys got this. And I apologize for not mentioning it originally in the post thoughts, but yeah, again, my emotional state was not in the best place. So, thank you all so much. Yeah. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this final episode of Season 2 of Doom Patrol and the massive cliffhanger it left off on? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.